There we are. Hey, everybody. What is up? What is up? I am Katrina from In Cat We Trust, host, creator, writer, all these awesome things. And today I am doing something I normally do not do. If you know me, you know. I am not a person who particularly watch much of AEW, but there's only one person who can kind of get me to do something related to them in any capacity. And so I have a special guest here with me today, Kiki. Keeks, how are you today?
Hey everybody, yes, I forced Kat to do this. I know she's not an AEW person, but she is the only person that I love for to interview me. That's my girl. So, because she loves me so much, she was gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I, you're the only person. I make that joke all the time. I'm like, no, seriously, nobody else will be like, don't do that. Like, actually, somebody else. But for you, yes, I would definitely do this for. And so I know you are definitely one of the people I know in wrestling that are like really into AEW. There's a few of you guys that are like, definitely what I would call the dedicated fan.
Yes.
And so what was your, I guess, an initial process as far as deciding you kind of wanted to do an award show, since this is your second time doing this? So what was your initial process of like, this is something I'm going to do and kind of make sure I do it annually?
Yes. Most importantly, I wanted to do. First of all, it was a test to me, to because we already know how it is with women in content. We always get they don't know what they're talking about, this and this and this. So this was awards to test me, to make sure that not only am I showing the audience that I'm giving the best factual content that I can, while also having fun and just highlighting what I am covering, because I am an AEW fan. It doesn't make sense to be like, just saying and spewing stuff.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, y'all know I go back and forth. Like, I'm not one of those that, yes, I do watch. I would say I'm a casual WWE fan, but I don't hate watch it. Like, if you follow my Twitter, I'd be dead lost. And people be laughing like, she really don't watch it. But I'm not one of those AEW fans that hate watch WWE. Like, if I watch it, I watch it, and I give my credits due. Like, I have nicknames for people, but I'd be like, oh, that was a really good, I'm not one of those. So just take that out. Like, I'm not one of those AEW fans that, because I know they are out there. I know they can be insufferable, but that's not Keeks, okay? I'm just here to focus on what I like. And this award show is just something fun for AEW fans, because, some people be feeling like when it comes to certain like countdowns and certain magazines and certain platforms that do these awards or these lists, that they are a little bit biased of the product. So that was something that I was just like, let me just, give them flowers myself, whether they're listening to it or not. It's just something fun.
Yeah. I am with you as far as the hate watching. Again, I'm not a person who really watch AEW. It's a very hard thing for me to do.
Yeah.
And I have been at a couple of AEW events. I definitely have for other places I've worked with. And I've been in media calls for them, do your job. I'll do my job now. But I don't get anybody who just sits there and like, I'm gonna take 2 hours of my time and watch something I know I don't like. Makes no sense. So but you're definitely one of the fans
Right.
that I said are not really insufferable, because some of them are very insufferable. I'm like, all right, guys, you're doing too much. You actually aren't like that. You're not. I'm like, oh god, why? Like, get you started. You're definitely not somebody who's like one of those fans. You're like, oh god, like let me mute this person. Um, but who are some
Right.
of the? Yeah, it's just there's some that I kind of had to be like, all right, you are. Oh, wait, wait, that is
Oh my
crazy.
God. Here we go.
That is crazy. Just coming in, all right. Just a couple of minutes in, coming in. I no, well for me, I mean, I guess you would know a little better, but for me, she actually isn't like. I've definitely dealt with worse online. I don't know. And love you too, Shanties. Thank you as always for being great and
Right.
being awesome. And so who are some of the people that you feel that really kind of stood out for you the last year or so in AEW, and
Yes.
why?
this year, because I know this year for my awards, the most nominated, like I said on my show, has been Willow Nightingale. She's nominated the most for my awards this year. She definitely stood out in my opinion with New Japan Strong and also for AEW and also for ROH. So she's really been working. You know, she was the first Black woman in AEW to win the Owen Hart tournament. Of course, Ricky Starks won it too. So it was, it was a cute thing, good thing, or whatever. And also Orange Cassidy is the second. That Orange, it was a great year for him. His character is interesting, but he can really go in the ring. So those two really stood out the most, in my opinion, for the year of 2023 for AEW.
Nice. Willow is my girly. I have been very fortunate before all of, you know, she's been like introduced to everybody else. I was very fortunate to be able not only to interview her but also ring announce her a couple of
Right.
times. And so that is my girl. Love me some Willow, and I definitely do think she has definitely had a year. I will be surprised, not even just yours, in general, if anybody does any year things and she's not on it, I'm gonna have to give him a side eye. She's been working. She
Right.
has most certainly been working and doing her thing, and I'm really, really like just proud of her, but also proud to know her. And so we got the heels, we got the faces. I do make the joke. I use Christian, I think, for almost anything. Um, Especially if it's a dad joke, I use Christian. That is definitely like anytime people mention Cody Rhodes, I put a Christian thing. Like this is gonna be my response from now on. And so while I don't watch it consistently, he's somebody I might have watched a segment. Let me see what you're gonna say, because I'm appreciating you just pretty much calling people like you're their dad and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let you work with this. I don't use it like that, but I'll let you have this, Christian. And so who are some of your like top faces in AEW and some of your top heels that have really just kind of stepped it up in 2023?
Yeah, so definitely top heel has definitely been Christian Cage, in my opinion. Also, Ricky Starks, his heel turn, it works for him. I think he's one of those that needs to remain a heel. It works for him. Um, who else has been a great heel? I would say MJF, but not. It's not more of a heel. It's just, to me, I'm just like, that's probably who he is. So I'm not gonna really count him. Samoa Joe has been a great heel. Um, I guess if you want to call him a heel, but he's technically a heel. He's one of those anti-heroes people. Um, I know people don't like him too much. He calls the whole riffraff on Twitter, but Swerve is a great heel. He stepped it up as a heel. Yeah, because I want to look down, but I don't want to give too much on the heel nominations. But oh, and also Roosh. Roosh is also a great heel too. And
Okay,
then
yeah.
for baby faces, of course, like I said, Willow Nightingale, Orange Cassidy, Kenny Omega, Adam Page. You can't go Eddie Kingston. Like you can't go. They have some legitimate baby faces. And I forgot to mention Athena for heels as well. Athena was a great heel.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely, I forgot she was a heel just that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, Christian's probably because I don't watch enough to have like really much like, oh, these storylines. I can't even tell you. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
But I definitely would say, with regards again to Christian, because like I said, I use him now almost anytime Cody's mentioned. Christian is somewhere very close for me to use. Here's that picture right there, guys. And so I think this is some of his it very reminiscent of TNA Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was annoying, and when he's with Christian and Edge and the whole WWE, he annoyed me. But I felt like he was just really greeting in TNA, and I feel like this is very similar to that type of vibe. And so I respect that. I respect being able to kind of reinvent yourself, especially when you got a lot of younger guys you're kind of competing with in a way. Um, and so have what I guess, not to like go too much into it because I have my issues with, but this is wrestling in general. What are your thoughts as far as like the booking? Because I know people have a lot of back and forth about in regards to both good stuff, bad stuff, what Tony could do better, what he's doing fine. And so because you are definitely an avid watcher, how do you feel about like the booking aspect of AEW?
It's hot and cold, and most importantly to me is the problem is when you're allowing talent to have creative control of what they do, it can cause a riff raff with the booking. For example, FTR, like, people, I know people do not like the books, but that whole issue has nothing to do with the books. It just shows how selfish FTR is with the booking. Like, that doesn't work for me, brother. And I've said it on Twitter. I said the Young Bucks stood for business when it came to All In. They let y'all have that win, let them have that. The plan was they was going to win the tag titles back at, All Out. Then it started that whole rivalry between Ricky Starks, Bill, and the Young Bucks. But because FTR hit that doesn't work for me, brother, it's a whole, the tag team division for AEW, which at a point in time they had a great tag team division until that happened, until, he's allowing certain people that never had creative control before have creative control over what they're doing. MJF, FCR, certain people that he's, don't want to say no to, he don't want to lose. And then you have the EVPs that, they're being selfless. So you have the EVPs being selfless while you have certain people being selfish. So it's causing a whole riffraff in the booking. The booking, of course, I've been one of those that's been speaking up for AEW Women's Division. It's gotten a little bit better where we want to see more. We're starting to see a little bit more. At this point, I'm just like, okay, it is what it is, because regardless how much people are saying stuff, I've always said you have to get behind them as well, like buy their merches and stuff like that. It's getting there, but we still have more work to do. But like I said, it's obvious it's better when certain people are not on TV. I'm not trying to get messy, but you could tell it's better when certain people are not there. So it's hot and cold, it's up and day, it's night and day. But now that he got Danielson is the person that is handing out fines and stuff like that, I mean, maybe it will start getting in the direction that it once was. Because what's most important is they remain the popular alternative, not trying to do WWE, but remain the alternative that they once was, what they started from the beginning, why they created AEW in the first place. Get back to that. And once they start to kind of get back to that a little bit, got to get rid of the fat. We still cutting the fat out, as my granny used to say.
My grandma did too. No, I definitely
in which they're starting to do. So y'all got some cut now. So
well, you mentioned him. I wasn't, but I now I feel like I've seen so many think pieces about, I've seen a lot. And I did tell a friend, even being there in Chicago, I knew he was there. I did, but to hear all the way up until he got there, or as far as showed up, I guess, to the audience, of how they booed until his music dropped, and I was like, y'all was just talking all this smack before the man came out, and now y'all acting like this is the second come of Messiah. The way they were acting, I was like, the change some of you guys made. Even in the area I was in, some people were talking a lot of shit, but as soon as he came out, it was a very different response. And so what, I guess, your thoughts about him kind of being fired? And since I was aware, I think before most people were, that he was fired, I was told, or rather we were told, um for somebody who was there, and he was like, we can't say anything, but yeah, and I was like, what? Like, I was aware pretty early on, but also when I found out he was backstage, and I was like, oh, so he is here, and so kind of that thing. And so what are your, like, I guess, thoughts about him being fired and kind of going back to a place we probably never would have thought he would have went back to?
you can tell by his face he's a little disgusted that it has gotten to this point, but it's just like, that's why you can't say nothing. Like, you cannot. It's crazy because for years we've heard him just, WWE is this, WWE is that, and then when the walls are closing in, Triple H just rubbing his, come home to Papa. But what's smart on Tony Khan's behind is the NDA. Like, I'm like, that is the smartest thing you can do because you saw how he was reacting for the last 10 years about WWE, and he's just like, oh no, that's not gonna happen. You can be passive aggressive all you want, but you cannot mention my name. I can't mention yours, and we're gonna keep it that way. That's crazy. He's like, I can't legally talk about him. He can't legally talk about me or my brand.
Definitely smart.
So now WWE, yeah, that's smart. So now WWE got PG CM Punk, and he has to deal with the people that he talked about. You talked about Seth Rollins, you talked about Roman Reigns, you talked about Kevin Owens, you talked about a lot of people back there. You talked about Cody Rhodes. I was looking at Cody Rhodes' face because he like Cody Rhodes tried to get away from him, and now you got to work with him. See, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see in like 2 months. I'll give it 2 months. Not that I don't want to say I expect him to be problematic. I would hope
Right.
you've learned something at some point as far as like even if you feel away, I feel away quite often with people, but also know when to say something and when not to. And so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I would be side-eyeing if I was in the locker room knowing you kind of talk shit about me like a few years. I would be like, I don't know if I got to work with you. They're better than me. I don't know if I'll be that nice about it personally.
I will be laughing, honestly. Every time I see him, I'll be like, his clock is ticking. Yeah.
that is true. That is definitely true. I enjoyed because I watched the show Heels. I enjoyed him on that. I thought he was like wasn't like it wasn't really much of his CM Punk character. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem. I actually never really had a problem with CM Punk. He's never made me feel away. For me to be like, oh man, I had no say so of first any place. I was like, whatever do you're gonna do, dude, do it. But it is interesting. It is definitely interesting that he's back.
But it's like what Drip, when me and Davis was talking, he was saying like the other day, he was just like, he had to go back because like Hills is canceled. You got fired from AEW. I mean, you can't, Tony got ROH. TNA ain't got the money like that. Like he was saying, I mean, nobody wants to hear you podcasting because all you're gonna do is talk mess, and then what you want to talk mess about, you can't because you got an NDA. You gotta go back. So Trips, he gonna get it back in blood too, just like he doing with Cody. He gonna get it back subliminally, like you gonna be facing some folks. Yeah, he gonna get it back, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna be like, see. I mean, because we know that people that is at AEW that used to be at WWE, including my GOAT, like they gonna eventually go back. I already know Jericho is most likely gonna go back for his last little run before he calls it quits. I mean, it doesn't, we know that eventually John Moxley will go back to do a whole Shield thing. They'll eventually go back. That's part of the business. But him at all, people, I'm like, I thought they was the scum of the earth.
Yeah, I was definitely.
I thought they was this and this. And we just talked about them this summer. And you talked about them this summer. Like it was this summer you talked about them, but we'll see. I can't wait. I wonder who's gonna face for WrestleMania. Hey Shay.
Hey Shay. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with him for the Rumble since that's actually very close. And WrestleMania. I mean, I know he's not touching Roman. And so
He
like
was like, no,
I was like, y'all get out of
I'm
here
not
with this
wrestling
bullshit.
him.
He is not touching Roman. Like, so we play those kind of games, guys. Roman wouldn't even look at him. Like, don't play.
Ain't he gonna be at SmackDown tomorrow?
Supposedly he is. So
That's interesting. I'm gonna watch. I want to see what he gonna say. Is he gonna call out Roman?
I feel like Roman is probably gonna just be like, man, please. And to be fair, I would be the same because he definitely talking shit about Roman Reigns as well. So I
I
mean,
feel like Triple H is gonna be like, you know what? I have an idea. It's gonna be you versus him at Royal Rumble, but squash him. Squash him. Do what you want, man. Do what you want. We're gonna get him back. Just like we did Cody. Ain't no finishing, no story. Do what you want.
yeah, I know how I feel about the story not being finished. Perfectly fine with it, may I add. Perfectly fine with the story not being finished. Hey. How are you? Thanks for popping in. And yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't think he's winning. I mean, maybe he'll win the Rumble, maybe. But I don't. I feel like Mania. I feel like they're gonna make him work. He's not doing that. I'll be very surprised, honestly. Like Triple H like to do what I call, he does lawyer talk in a way that it's like he'll say things that sound real, like real. It sounds nice, but like
I'm
I
well
also
out
know.
of water.
So I definitely do feel that it's gonna be, he's gonna make him pay a little bit, and he should.
Yeah,
Because you was talking shit about him literally like early 2023. Personally, he's better than me. I would be like to the end, my guy, make you grovel a little bit.
the
Um,
apology need to be just as loud as the insults.
for a firm believer in that one, firm
Mm-hmm.
believer. Definitely got to be the same energy all around. And so, what were some of your favorite AEW feuds we have gotten? And I was just, because since Tony kind of does, he does own ROH, I'll even throw that in there as well. What are some of your feuds in both ROH and AEW that we've gotten in 2023?
ROH, definitely Claudio and Eddie Kingston, and Athena and Willow Nightingale. AEW, Orange Cassidy and John Moxley. I did enjoy that a lot. Kenny Omega, um, Will Ospreay, even though that was New Japan and AEW at the same time, but I did enjoy that. Bucks and FTR, it could have been a great rivalry if FTR wasn't FTRing about the whole situation. It could have been great. Um, my gosh, I'm trying to think off the top. Um, who else with some great rivalries? Hangman Page and John Moxley, they had a great rivalry. I love their rivalry. Um, I would say MJF and Danielson, but I guess I throw that in there. Whatever for Danielson though. Jungle Boy, that's my savior right there. Jungle Boy is my savior. So yeah, anything he was doing, Jack Perry, that's the savior. But yeah, those are the one off the top of my head that I can think of for right now.
Okay, okay. So we gotten a couple of people I've noticed that has kind of like with the TBS title changing, for instance,
Mhm.
and we're seeing some people get little moments, little spotlight moments. And so, who is somebody for both the women's roster and I know we mentioned Willow, so I'll take Willow out of this for this just because we've mentioned her, and obviously all the praises for Willow, but in case somebody's like, all right, we got it, guys. Who are some of the people that really just kind of like, I want to say stole the show, but like stole the year for you, that like really kind of put their foot into what they were doing uh in AEW?
Chris Statlander for sure. Definitely Chris Statlander. She added that prestige to the TV. There's no shade to Jade Cargill, but she really added that prestige to the TBS Women's Championship. She was working, even though it was not a lot of storylines there, but she was there. She was wrestling. She was defending it, and she made it her own. So she really did cultivate this year, in my opinion. Um, well, not Orange. I ain't gonna say Orange Cassidy again, but he honestly is, because I mean, even though MJF was the champion, but Orange Cassidy International Championship definitely outweighed that reign or what he did. So definitely him. Um, and I can't say the tag team belts because FTR was FTRing. But I want to give credit to the Acclaim, even though, like I've always said, the trios titles has always been like that kind of mid card that it's there. It's not meant to be something over, but they really did a great job of the of the trios titles, because even with the House of Black, it wasn't really going nowhere. But the Acclaim made it their own, as unique that they are. I know they're annoying to a lot of people, but they are who they are, and they did a great job with the trios belts too. So I give them that.
Okay, they're definitely annoying to me. I just need to say, I know somebody was really upset when I said that at like an event, and I was like, listen, I think it's like everybody loved their Acclaim, and I was like, well, I don't. that was the worst thing to say apparently in that area. They was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Well, the one thing I will say is I said what I said, no matter what." So I said what I said. But yeah, I got met with some glares and some stuff after I said that. But I was like, I'm sure they're cool. I have a thing about like why are we censoring that? Like how old are we? Like I feel like this is like that's my problem. I think with it. It's just like I feel
It
like
could
this.
be
I mean,
cheesy.
I feel like it's like when people was doing the suck ass thing, and even when I was in junior high school, that even as a junior high school person, that kind of annoyed me because it was like, all right, like you got it the first 20 times, you did it, like all right. I think that's what it is for me. But kudos to them because I feel like they definitely have a fan base. I've seen it. I just not part of it. Um, would you say there's something that
They and
yeah?
I
Oh,
Oh,
no,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, I was just saying, and they are like I've said it on Twitter. If you look, they are the top black merch sellers in both programs. So that's crazy to me. And Anthony Bowen being, gay, a gay wrestler, he is probably one of the most mainstream black wrestlers, even though the platform is LGBTQ. I mean, he was on Rihanna's platform. He's been on the LGBTQ magazine, one of the top magazines. He was number one influential LGBTQ, and I don't think a lot of people receive that or recognize Anthony Bowen as being the top, mainstream wise
Yeah.
because he's gay, but he's definitely very successful. So yeah, I get it because it can be cheesy the whole scissor me and stuff like that, but it just showed Billy Gunn's creative side. Like he's good at those catchphrases. So
I mean, Billy Gunn was Mr. Ass for a while, so I wasn't
mhm.
surprised too much. I wasn't too surprised. I'm like, he was Mr. Ass for years, which something that used to jerk me up a wall as well. So is there anything you think AEW's done very well in 2023 and something they probably could have worked on in 2023?
They've done very well with wrestling history. They make sure that even if you wasn't there at the time, or they bringing back certain people that is part of some form of history, like they had like this next week, and I'm mad that I won't be there, but they having Von Erichs there in Dallas. That's everything. That's history off top. Even though they didn't have Paul Heyman for ECW, but they still, recognized Paul Heyman for ECW, especially with All In, and especially bringing RVD back with his original song. So I do like that they do acknowledge the history because, WCW, ECW is like a big part of wrestling to me. So I do like that. And I do like that they include um, New Japan and also CMLL and a little bit of AAA. So I do like seeing that some people that deserve like that main spotlight get it, like Vikingo and just New Japan wrestlers that some people are not familiar with and they seeing. So they do that well. I do give them that. Even as flawed as they are, they do understand wrestling history because that is important.
And something you think they could, I guess, improve or like that maybe going into 2024 because we're close. It'll be January 1st before we know it. And
Right.
so, what is something you think they can improve going into 2024?
First things first, get rid of the people that don't want to be there because they are causing a lot of tension that doesn't need to be. So if you don't want to be there, you have the willpower to leave. Um, I know Tony Khan still doesn't have trust with people with the booking because how Cody Rhodes did it in 2019 and 2020 and a little bit of 2021. Him and his wife was just doing anything. They was just agreeing to anything. So they probably still have a little, I want to trust you, but I don't because this man did this and this and this and then left. So, but just add like two people, a woman, especially for the women's division, and somebody that is capable of booking correctly if you're going the story direction. Not saying it has to be, a story, but especially if you're going with the original method, they are in-ring storytellers at AEW. So you can still have both. You know, you want to focus on the in-ring, but not everybody can understand the concept of in-ring, which is fine, which is cool. So get at least two people, a woman or a man, if you're doing the creative side, to help. Like, hey, that doesn't work. And also, I know you want to be fair to wrestlers and let them have creative control, but sometimes wrestlers are just as dumb as the promoters. That is important too. Like, these people are dumb. So take that from them. You know, there's some of them are taking advantage of it. So it's time to take that from them. It's okay to be a boss. Like, some people are not meant to be a boss. You're gonna be disliked if you're a boss. And if you're disliked, that means you're doing something right. Not disliked because you harassing or sexually or all of that other stuff. Not that part, but not liked because you're respected. Some of the stuff that Tony is allowing, I'm starting to kind of understand why Vince didn't allow it. Like, this is why he ain't give y'all creative control now, because y'all don't know what to do with it. So you gotta be mean. It's time to be mean. Like, he got there a little bit when he fired CM Punk. Even though, like, Bryan Danielson probably had to talk him into it. You got to get rid of this person. Get rid of him now. Get rid of him now. He gotta go. So good thing he got Danielson now. Danielson, like, look, he not it. Okay, this person's not it. So
I definitely do think he needs to be a little bit meaner. Vince is quite flawed. I feel like sometimes I say, I'm like, listen, Vince have done some shit, quite a few. But the one thing he knew that he said it and he was absolutely right. One, the internet wrestling community is actually very small. It's not as it's and if you think about how as us as wrestling fans online, but even as content creators, are literally how small it is. It's really small. It's like you could almost say you almost know everybody in the IWC in any like almost to an extent. Not the really weird fans, but like when you think of people who might be known somewhat in wrestling content, you can be like, yeah, pretty much we all kind of know who the person is. And so he was right in that regard of saying like the IWC one are small, so you don't listen to them. And sometimes I think Tony does listen to Twitter people. Like they don't fucking know what they're talking about. They listen. They're gonna just go to a show and not take a shower and not wear deodorant. You gotta move that to the side. And definitely him not making sure. Like I agree. I do think in general most wrestling promotions, at least the top ones, will need some women in the room. I say all the time, like, hello, I can write, so like, slide me in there, guys. I'll do it for you. That's what you need. But definitely just people who are not stuck in very old school type mentality to an extent. I feel like that you can use both old school with certain things. I do think a good story is something very old school. But also kind of go with the times as well. I feel like it needs to be a nice balance, and Tony needs to, for me, he just needs to stay off Twitter. Just 2024. I need him to go to 2024 on New Year's Eve when we make resolutions. He need to be like, you know what? I'm just not gonna complain on Twitter today if something didn't really go my way, because I was highly just when that whole NXT thing happened. I was like, my guy, like a whole week. I was like, all right, because like stop. Like I need you to have a friend.
I feel like that's what Danielson told him. Like, I really do feel like if just promote the show, that's it. That's it. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else. Yes, everyone needs to stay. Like, just stay off. Don't
yeah,
you look a fool.
that roster.
And I said on my show, like, because some people's like, he trying to be this. I'm like, 2023. If he didn't learn nothing else, he was crossed between who to trust and the criticism. Like, that was just mashing in, because the whole William Regal thing, I know that fucked him up. Excuse my language. I know that messed him all the way up. Like, we thought you were here for the greater good, but you was secretly scouting talent for your friend. Like, that could mess with anybody's head. Like, I'm like, bro, I really thought we was here, but the whole time you had a whole plan and stuff like this. So he was caught in a crossfire, but definitely stay off Twitter. I could tell since Daniel's there, you're like, all right, if I'm going to do this, you need to start doing this, because all he has done is promote the show now. As if anybody could tell, all he does is promote. Thank y'all for watching. Here, this is what happened. That's it. Good. That's all you
Yeah,
need to
I,
do.
I I hope that keeps going in 24. I was like,
Because
dude,
people
like
gonna
really,
talk. People gonna talk regardless, good or bad.
that's true.
People are gonna talk regardless, good or bad. Just keep it pushing.
Yep, yep, yep. So, is there? I don't because I don't know if you gave out your categories yet. Is there a category that you feel you're like? Because this is your award show, and I feel like there's the basic categories, but I feel like most awards add that category that's kind of something that represents them as a person in the awards that they give. Do you have a category in these awards that's something that's like more dear to you than any of the other categories on this?
AE Lucha of the Year, because I that's one thing that I love. I'm a Lucha Libre fan all day, so they do really well with that representation of Lucha Libre. So AE Lucha, when I had posted it on Twitter, I was getting DMs like, "Thank you, somebody finally doing something for the Lucha." I'm like, "Yes, like yeah." Penta, Ray Phoenix, Rouge, Dralistico, Commander, Vikingo, like they did an amazing job. Bandito, even though he's injured, I will give you my wrist, Bandito, by the way. Um, they did a great job this year. I love it. I love seeing them on the screen. I love seeing them get their flowers. So A Lucha, and also all my women awards, like I have my female gear and female match of the year, female wrestler of the year, and then I have some of them included with the males. So just showing that I do pay attention to women's wrestling and they shouldn't be left out, regardless of the booking or not. Still support them, and I support them dearly. So I'm just very excited.
No, like I said, you're the only person I can do this for. so, so I'm actually really excited to see, when you do announce the winners, and like I said, you're the only person I can sit through award show of like, oh, I gotta sit through this. But for you, I would definitely said it just very happy, just for you're somebody you're one of the few who literally just when it comes to just knowing certain information in particular about AEW, you on it, and again you are able to say things in a way, and I know you can if you need to get with it, if you need to get buck, because I feel like me, I feel like I can be there if I need to, or if Shantice if she needs to. I feel like we all if we need to we will, but I feel like you can
It's
use it.
definitely been a year for both all of us, honestly. That like women of color in content, it was a year for us. Like, I don't know. I want 2024 to be kinder to us because we did not deserve nothing that you and with that brand and me dealing with, yeah, I ain't gonna say no names, but still, it was just crazy, crazy year for us. Crazy year.
Oh, most definitely. I definitely hope 2024 in general is just more kind, and also people hopefully at some point will decide to listen when we say things, because I feel like sometimes just screaming into the ether, nobody's listening. um but you are somebody who always can even express, obviously you have your tweets where it's clearly it's fandom, and I'm just listen, I'm Roman Reigns. I know logically why people are saying let it go, but also never, because no.
Right.
And so like so I definitely can be biased with my Roman Reigns love. And I can, even though I logically can understand, not Cody Rhodes still, but I can logically understand why people was like, all right, he needs to let it go. But also, no, it's the vibes. And so, but outside of the fandom, you always somebody who's always been able to eloquently kind of just say, well, this is why I'm watching it, or this is what's going on that you appreciate. And it's never, again, really weird, or like that annoying fan you're like, all right, my guy, you getting blocked, like none of that. And so always, like I said, you're the only person I can sit through any type of what you call it for, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be there just to support you, even if I'm like frowning at I guess, but also supporting you just because I'm glad that you're doing it. And I know there's a couple of AEW shows, but I feel like you're the one I've known for the longest that's been really AEW centric. I know there's other shows, we have Lyric, we have Low, on their show with Body Slam, and I know there's a couple of other people I've seen that's AEW centric, but you're somebody who've consistently seen it for a while, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably for
They
the
won.
last 2 3 year, I feel like. So I feel like you definitely on it. And I didn't want to keep you too long because I know you just like mom duties, guys. Sorry. We would chat all day if we could, but mommy duties do call. And so I definitely understand. So I don't keep you too long. But tell everybody when they can check the awards, where it will be, and where they can find you, what else you have going on.
Yes, so the awards is December 18th. I've been promoting it like crazy. Make sure you follow me, All Elite with Keeks, on all platforms, on Public Enemies podcast platform. So if you see I'm on their bio, click follow. It's December 18th. I have some guests on there just for their reactions, because that's what makes the awards show funny. Because none of them don't know who win, and they don't know who win when I tell them who win. Last year, I had, of course, Drip and Banks on there. That was so funny. They walked out when FCR won Tag Team of the Year. So let's see. Their reaction this year will be funny. So just be sure to tune in. And of course, I do a lifetime achievement awards. Just like if you're familiar with BET, it's the same kind of concept where I get my flowers to screen. There you go. Okay, that I do for my legends over at AEW. So this year I'm doing it for Jeff Jarrett. I know he's not everybody's favorite, but he does deserve his flowers, because life is so short. We buried, this year was, I don't want to say because I don't want to, but, we losing people.
Yeah.
So this is my way of just giving them their flowers while they're here. It will be written by, of course, Shantice Talker Champions, perfect person to do it because she's the Jeff Jarrett stan. So I'm giving my flowers to him. He deserves it regardless. That's a hustler. That man is gonna get some. He's gonna get a check. So that's who's getting it this year. Last year it was Billy Gunn. This year it is Jeff Jarrett. So just be sure to tune in December 18th. I'm going to promote it like crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the timeline for my year is always from full year of 2022 all the way through all out of 2023. That's my timeline. So of course next year I'll add in Wrestle Dream and stuff like that. But I'm just keeping it how, my same format. And then, of course, I will add those in for next year. So that's my year timeline on how I determine who wins and who doesn't. And if you disagree, that is fine. You can do your own.
Oh, there's probably gonna be somebody disagree, but that's what you do your own for. You keep that to your own Twitter, my guys. Like
Right. You can do
I don't
your
have I
own.
don't have to come into tweets because I will for Kiki. I will. So, but where can you did say where you can be followed, but as always, thank you for asking me to do this for you. I always like you and Shantice are my girlies. I said that like there's certain people I'm gonna ride for, and you two are two of the girlies I will definitely to the end. And so thank you as always, just for always trying to include me even in this. But I'm just so glad to seeing you flourish
Right.
on over there on Public Enemies. You're flourishing, you have your whole thing happening, and people know who you are, and I love that so much. And hopefully, 2024 we can see each other again in person. Since
Yes.
it's almost a year ago, then, guys, since we saw each other
Right.
in person. It's
Yes.
April, so it's almost a year since we saw each other in person. So hopefully we can get that happening at some point in 2024, and it's not like just once a year type stuff as it
I
was been happening.
know.
It's great. Listen, we live all over the place, guys. I'm in New York, she's in Texas, and so it's a bit of a travel, guys. But again, I'm just very, very proud of everything that you have been doing. And I just can't wait to see what you're going to do in 2024. And obviously, I will be there watching. And guys, you heard her December 18th. Be on it. Tell everybody, share all that good stuff. And if you feel away, well, you put it in a journal or something. But don't be bothering her in tweets. Don't be tweeting her. Don't be DMing because then I have to say something. I won't do that. I want to be nice
I
to
am more
anybody.
calm now. I'm more calm because I have my man said y'all not worth it. So I'm trying to transition because he said y'all not worth it, and I'm trying. He be, Drippy on me. He be like, Kiki, let it go. They are losers. They need this. You don't. Leave it alone. I'm like, okay. So
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the crossroads right now. I'm like, like I'm normally calm, but some people be pissing me off, and I'm like, all right, guys, like
right.
my petty is petty. Like, don't play with me, don't play with me, guys. But yes, again, super proud of that. That's what 10 days, about 10, 11 days from now, we will be catching this. So definitely make sure everybody you tune in, share, and support Kiki, support Keeks, support all the women in content, in particular Black women. I feel like this sounds a bit biased, but I am a Black woman, and we have definitely had a year. Um, we had a year, and so just please, be more kind and be supportive and all that good stuff. But we will catch you guys later. I will make sure to add the links re-added at the end of this so you guys can click on the description and follow. And we will catch you guys next time.